Making sense of marriage, questions and answers. How will same-sex marriage affect other people?
That's a great question. People often say to us, let's just legislate same-sex marriage. What's the effect on other people? How will same-sex marriages affect the rest of society? Why is it any of your business? What's it got to do with you? Marriage under Australian law at the moment has 4 pillars. It's defined as the union of a man and a woman to the exclusion of all others, voluntarily entered into for life. The union of a man and a woman, it's heterosexual. To the exclusion of all others, it's monogamous. We don't let more than 2 people get married. Voluntarily entered into, it's a free decision, and no one should force you to get married, coerce you or anything like that. And for life, it's intended to be permanent. Let's look at what we've done with marriage in the past. So 40 years ago this year, we changed one of the other big pillars of marriage, the idea that it needs to be permanent, when we allowed no-fault divorce in this country. Previously, before the Family Law Act, we needed to prove fault in a divorce. And at the time that no-fault divorce was introduced, there were really good intentions, because before those laws came into play, you needed to have a reason to be divorced. And so that meant that blame was assigned. So you had to come up with some reason to blame someone. That could get very messy, very hate-filled, and that was a real problem, particularly when there were children involved. But look what's happened. When the law got changed, culture changed, because laws shape culture. And so 40 years ago, when we decided that marriage didn't necessarily have to be permanent anymore, and that wasn't something that we needed to strive for, then culture changed to say, well, okay, maybe marriage doesn't need to be permanent. Maybe we don't need to be in this for life. Today, 1 in 3 marriages at least end in divorce. And it doesn't shock us when somebody gets divorced. People throw divorce parties. People don't even enter into marriage sometimes intending that it's going to be permanent. They take vows of as long as we both shall love rather than as long as we both shall live. Once the law changed, our understanding of marriage changed, the ideal that we stretched for changed. So marriage is no longer permanent. People might say, well, why is that a bad thing? You don't need to choose to get divorced. You can stay in marriage if you want to, but what's that got to do with the rest of society? Well, for one, the Australian Institute of Family Studies tells us that the group who suffer the most financial hardship after divorce are women and children. So once we change our understanding of marriage in law, we change it in society, and other people are affected. Women and children, in this case, are the ones most affected by our change in marriage law 40 years ago. And really that law at the time was intended to protect them and to assist them. So nobody can tell us that a change in law doesn't affect culture. Nobody can tell us that changing our idea of marriage doesn't affect us anymore, doesn't affect the rest of society. Nobody can tell us that changing the law doesn't change marriage for everyone. Of course it does. We've seen it with divorce. We've seen it over the last 40 years. If we change the definition of marriage, if we play with another one of these pillars, then marriage itself again will change. Our society's understanding of marriage will change. This decision is not just a decision for same-sex couples who want to get married. This decision is for all of Australia. We all need to be involved, and we all need to think about what is going to happen if marriage is redefined.
marriageequals.org.au